Hi, and welcome to another episode of Abilene People. I started to say fantastic episode because I think they're all fantastic. I'm your host, Danny Sims. They're fantastic, not because of me. They're fantastic because of the guests. They're always interesting. That's what we do here. We interview Abilene's most interesting people. And today, I mean, hands down, stone cold, whatever you say, we've got one of Abilene's most interesting people, Doc England. Doc, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. You're laughing, but don't you? You're kind of interesting, don't you?
Well, yeah.
Okay. All right. Good.
I've come to accept it.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That's good. So you own and run Faire Park.
Yes.
And that is, if I'm not mistaken, like the longest continuously running mini golf place in Texas or the nation or something.
In Texas.
Yeah. So how in the world did you come about running Faire Park?
Well, I had just lost a job that I thoroughly loved.
And so you do what every man does. You went golfing.
Yes. And which is funny. I don't play golf.
Yeah. I don't anymore. But I do love your golf course.
Yeah.
By the way.
Yeah. I'll play a hole when we work on it and stuff. But I was in between jobs, and a really great friend of mine's father owned the old course, and it was called Green Acres at the time.
Yeah, I thought it was a different name.
Yeah. And so they approached me about, we think this is something that you'd be good at. And it had interest for me because it was a recreational site, and I have a degree in recreation. Yes, you can get a degree in recreation in college.
Love it.
Yeah. I just was upfront about it, I'm the only one that did that. So, but I thoroughly enjoyed, having that opportunity and tool to work with people that way.
Because you had been like in youth ministry, if I recall, and so you
ran the Boys and Girls Clubs. That was working with young people is what I've done since I was one. So I don't get along real well with adults. I don't know why.
I think that's one reason why Faire Park's a great place for you. So let me ask you this: what are some of your favorite stories from owning the miniature golf course? You've got to have some funny ones, right?
It's always an interesting place to be. There's the conglomeration of people that are attracted to it is quite entertaining. But the one of my favorite ones, and this was when we first came on, there's a ball willow just to the west of the main building, and it's right in front of where the loop-de-loo is. So a friend and I were standing there where the tree is now, but at the time there was nothing, and there was this young kid up there, 8 to 10 years old, and he was hitting the ball, and it kept bouncing off the railroad tie that was right there. And by the third time that it bounced back to him, he had lost fact that we were standing right behind him. This kid just hauls off and crushes the ball. And luckily, it went through the loop-de-loo, and you could hear it screaming. As it went around the loop-de-loo, it hit the back of the cup, and it went straight up in the air about 10 feet and came directly back down into the thing, and you could hear it. It was like a rattle.
What'd the kid do?
He just stood there with his mouth open, and he turned around, and we saw it. Don't hit it again that hard,
That's fun. So I wonder how long ago was that, and would the kid remember it if we could find him?
Oh, Lord, yeah. I know he would remember. I guarantee you, because people come out, I made a hole-in-one on that one when I was 8 or 10.
Yeah, that's so fun.
And that's the cool part.
You've had people come in there for a generation.
Well, 78 years it's been open. So my parents came there on dates before they knew each other.
Wow.
That's how old this place is.
Wow.
So
that's fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. So, okay, back in the day, take us back. You grew up, I think maybe born in West Texas, but you got to Abilene as fast as you could, I guess.
Well, we got chased out of Monahans. My father was a football coach and had some progressive ideas out in West Texas in the oil camps. Monahans had won state 3 years in a row. And so, of course, the coach gets stolen away by a university. And so he gets moved up. There's only a two-man, coaching staff. And expectations are high. And for the 4 years he was head coach, we didn't win state again. Now, we went to the playoffs every year. But in the midst of all this, the one that just they couldn't stand was he started winning the sportsmanship award. You had to know my father. He was a really good man, and they didn't like that. And then one of the oil company executives wanted his son that was going into the business to work his way up from the bottom. Well, they were from back east and stuff. Well, he had married a ballerina from New York City. And so here in 1954, 6, somewhere in there, brings this ballerina out to the middle of nowhere. And he goes, well, she was talking about she needed something to do. And I thought, balance, foot movement, that's all good stuff for football players.
So I see where this is headed.
Oh, those rednecks did not like that. So with all the love they had for us, they chased us out of town. So,
and if memory serves me right, it was the all-pro running back for the Cowboys for a while, Herschel Walker, was also a star in the Fort Worth Ballet.
Yeah. Well, and then what's his name? The receiver from San Francisco.
Jerry Rice?
Not Rice. Anyway, was... No, the one from Philadelphia back in the day, same time as Rice. But the Philadelphia receiver or Pittsburgh.
Well, look, to clear the air, I never did play professional football. I never did do professional ballet, but you got kind of close. You went to college on a football scholarship.
Yes. Yeah.
And so you got hurt up in Colorado.
Adams State.
So Adams State, that's an interesting place in Colorado because but it's right next door to some of the most beautiful country in the world.
Surrounded by it.
But that's what's odd. You can be there in Alamosa, Colorado, and it's flat. It's hot. It's like the high desert. Maybe it is the high desert.
Well, it is the high desert. It's the largest high desert valley in the world.
And so you went to college there.
Feet.
You've got to have some great memories of going up and hiking. What's that big mountain over where the sand dunes are?
Blanca.
Yeah.
Third highest peak.
And so you hiked it?
No, many times. Times.
Yeah, beautiful place.
And we were talking about Crestone earlier. That was a place that we went before it got developed.
Yeah, Crestone, Colorado.
But you got to understand now what you see there was nothing compared to what it was. There was a can that you put money in and climbed over a fence to go swimming at the hot springs.
Interesting.
I've been up in the hot springs. There's an old pool that I think they've refurbished. And then you go up and there was an extremely large tub size. And then you go up the hill from that about another quarter mile or so. And as you walk along the stream, there's smoke coming up the whole time you're in Colorado. But I've been in there when you could lay down and just have your face sticking out and everything else is covered in snow.
Wow.
And you're looking out across that valley. Oh,
so beautiful. And there's a place up there where there's a cave or something.
Yeah,
it's got like, I don't know, a glacier or something. I mean, I don't know.
Well, it has its own small glacier that's up inside. Now, Mount Blanca has a glacier that's on it year-round.
So what a wonderful place to go to college and learn and experience life. But big change from Abilene. I don't know how you got up there. I would assume you drove or hitchhiked. You got up there somehow. But when you got hurt, tell us that story. You don't have to tell us the story when you got hurt, but that changed things.
Yeah, it did. My father was a football coach in Monahans, and so I grew up thinking, yeah, that's what you do, is play football, and you go to college to play football, and I was given gifts that, I was the captain of the Abilene High team, one of the captains, and loved playing any game, any sport, just love it, and a coach that my father went to college with knew that he had a son. And he said, he's a coach. I bet he knows how to play ball.
So there you go.
Yeah. So I got up there and it was a magical time anyway. Things were moving from the West Coast because things had gotten so wild out in California and stuff. Things moved to Boulder, Colorado about this same time. And that made for a very interesting.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Very interesting time.
So, that whole area, the San Luis Valley, did I say it right?
Yeah.
That's a real mystical, spiritual area. And now if you go up to Crestone, which is just north of where we're talking about, you find all kind of prayer temples and just a really interesting. And it was that way back then, or was it?
There weren't the temples and stuff but it was a very spiritual place. Because you're up on the side of this gorgeous mountain in the San de Cristo Mountains. Just by the name right there alone, it's got spiritual meaning. It's just gorgeous, and you're looking out over this expansive valley that's the largest in the world for that type valley. And it's just unbelievable. And you see across to the Continental Divide is on the other side of the valley. And that's where Wolf Creek ski area is. And, so it was just
hard to come back to Abilene. Did you ever think about, you know what, I'm going to just stay in Colorado?
Well, I stretched school out as far as I possibly could. It took me 8 years to get 2 degrees. I don't have any minors. I have 2 majors, one in psychology and one in recreation.
Perfect then for ministry, perfect for youth ministry, perfect to run Faire Park.
Well, I had during college, one of the jobs that I did is I worked with Prude Ranch for Exceptional Children, which is out in Fort Davis. And they needed to get these kids, residential kids, out of the camp so that they could have Prude Ranch, which is a guest ranch, and you come out and send your kids there to learn how to ride a horse and, play like they're cowboys and stuff, learn how to, ride. But wonderful people, and it had grown into something they didn't plan on. But here they had this program, and so what do? We got to keep them on the road. And so my job was for 2.5 months to keep 30 designated juvenile delinquents from causing any more delinquency and learn something. And we did kind of an outward bound type program where we took them up on Mount Blanca. I took them up to Lake Como, which is at the base of the glacier. These kids that were from Houston and Dallas, the ghettos and the, hard luck things, here you were exposing them to God's greatest creations. They're just awe-inspiring. And stay there for a week.
And there's nothing like it.
Nothing.
Really, especially for a kid from a city that's not experienced it.
Oh, you don't want to do something?
Yeah.
You mean you don't want to eat? Well, okay. We're not going to make a fire then if you're not going to go get firewood.
Okay. I think I'll help.
Yeah. All of a sudden, life has new meaning. It's not I can go steal something. What are you going to steal? A rock? Yeah. So
back for a moment to Faire Park. You mentioned some funny stories. You saw the kid hit the wild putt, hit it. He Tiger Woods'd it, and it ends up going in. So, what is your schedule at the park? Are you open all year long, or only the spring and the summer?
No. Yeah, and that's something that I don't know how we haven't been able to break that. I've been there for 31 years now, which blows my mind. But in this whole time, people think we're only open during the summer. And I'm like, no. We close mid-December, right before Christmas, and then we open up at least by spring break. The way the weather's been getting lately, we've been able to open in February on the weekends when the weather was nice, and you'd be surprised how many are gorgeous, So It's almost year round.
So did not rehearse this, did not ask you about it. But if somebody's watching this podcast or hears this podcast, of course, there will be many who will. But how about this? What if the first person that comes into to play Faire Park and says, "Hey, I saw you on that podcast." They don't have to know it's the Abilene People podcast, but how about they get a discount on a round of golf?
Oh Lord, yes, it'd be a gift.
That'd be
gift.
Fun.
Come on out.
So there you go. First person, you better hurry. The day we're recording this is, to make sure we get it straight, Wednesday, August 6th in the year of our Lord, 2025. First person that hits stock up says, "Hey, I saw you on the podcast," gets a free round of golf. And if more people clamor, I'll pay for theirs.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know you. We've met a couple of times.
You've done time on radio, I can tell.
I've done this and that and the other thing. You've done this, that, and the other thing. But I just sense that if I ask you a weird question, it's going to be in your wheelhouse. And here it is. So 3 themes, okay? 3 things that people grapple with in our community, in our state, and in our nation. All 3 are big deals every day today. So I don't even know that it's going to come out in a question, but I'm talking about spirituality, politics, and culture. If I just said, "Hey, riff on those," let's just start with spirituality. What does that mean to you, and what do you think about how people are engaging spiritually in America today or locally today?
Well, I just this week was in touch with some of the people from the Interfaith Council here in town. These are people of faith. It's been around since I was working at the church. And they're just trying to bring down walls between people of faith. And like I said earlier, my father was a man of faith, and he's done that for me. I am based in the Christian ethics and where I grew up and stuff, but my basis is on faith. I don't care what another person's belief structure is, but as long as they have faith, then I think we all have the same God. That's my thought on this topic. But,
Why do you think people get so irritated? And when I say that, I mean particularly, I see Christian people get really irritated if somebody comes along and says something so audacious as we ought to get along with Muslims and Hindus. And
I don't want to join something that, isn't the best. If I'm going to join something, it's got to be the best. Well, it can be just the best for you. You understand that pathway to God. You understand the reasonings behind this. And we're not all alike, but we are all alike. And it makes sense. I mean, our God is, in my thinking, is so awesome that we're putting limitations on him that don't belong there, and I don't think are Christian. And that's the part that I struggle with culturally, politically, and spiritually. We are going to be doing an event in October with the Interfaith Council.
You mean at Faire Park?
At the park, yeah. We're not a place where you're going to hear preaching. We won't do a prayer call or anything like that. This is just a place where we can come and celebrate and try and get out of God's way so that he can do his work.
You have a date set for that yet?
No, but I'll make sure that you'll get it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to press on a little bit in that question. I love that, by the way. I just absolutely love it. In that question as to how people get off track, if you peel the layers back, often what we find is the people who are disagreeable toward somebody of the an Islamic faith, or I don't know why I'm having a hard time saying a Muslim, but,
right.
But people who get crossways with a Muslim, or people that get crossways with a Jewish person, if you look at their church experience, they're crossways with people in their own denomination.
Yes.
And then if you look
just
at
like we are.
yeah, I mean, come on.
I grew up Methodist.
Yeah.
You know, I don't understand not dancing. We had a word for drinking. It was imbibing.
Well, here's the thing. I grew up in a church tradition that prohibited dancing but endorsed hayrides.
Yeah.
Now, tell me how that makes sense. What would you rather do, see your kid out on a well-lit dance floor or on the third trailer back rolling around in the hay with a girl?
Yeah.
Come on.
Or you have the party. All the Methodist girls were dancing, and all the other gals were over in the dark corners. I'm sorry. I remember these things because all I've had is a daughter and a granddaughter. So
I'm going to go look at what's going on in the corner.
Yeah, and you're just going, what's the...
So it seems
Sex
like
standing up.
Spirituality is kind of transactional these days for so many people. It's just it's it's binary. I don't know that I'm struggling with my words here, but it's yes or no, right or wrong. Yeah. And when you experience the God of Scripture, you see something very
We all sinners. Each and every one of us.
You think?
And if you don't think you are, you just strayed so far away from God right there that, good luck to you.
This is what tickles me about the current move to put the Ten Commandments in classrooms. People say, well, we got to do that. We're a Christian nation. Wait a second. The Ten Commandments were not written by Jesus. I think they were given by God to, what was his name?
What was that guy's name?
Moses. And
Burt Lancaster.
I don't think Moses was a member of your Methodist church, was he?
No.
I don't think he was.
No.
Yeah, it's just funny how people have different perspectives, but boy, theirs has to be right.
Well, I mean, Abilene High is the best team in town. I mean, because I went there.
Well, you absolutely.
I'm sorry. That's where my daughter went to school.
100%.
And my granddaughter just graduated from there.
But of course, next week we'll have a guest from Cooper, and it'll be very different.
And it should be. But let's keep it in line.
Yeah. So, okay, we talked a little bit about spirituality and touched on politics and culture, but politics seems to really be off the rails in terms of any sense of compromise, collegiality, collaboration, kindness. Back to spirituality for a minute. If you believe in kindness, boy, it'd be awfully tough to be a politician these days, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So what do you think about politics? Do you have any hope at all? Or
I love Stan Lambert. Our state representative is a wonderful man. I don't always agree with how he votes. But I know that he has a good heart. I know he's a man of faith. And I know that he cares about this community. He was the president of my class going through school at Abilene High. And then our senior year at that time, the big thing was to be the student council president. And he served in that place. And I always knew that I was going to be voting for Stan on a level outside of Abilene. I just knew that from the time we first met through student council in middle school, junior high. And so I feel good about it from there. But then also in that same regard, he was primaried by the Republican Party in the last election. And they brought somebody in from Dallas who didn't know what she was doing at all, could not communicate well at all, didn't live here. There's my problems. Where's the standing up for right? And how do you think we're confusing kids now? Jeez, I mean, I'm a child advocate is my main profession. And I just get so wound up over the things that we are doing to kids, taking opportunities to learn how to work. We killed off adult jobs, so now they're bagging groceries at they're throwing newspapers. Oh, we don't have newspapers anymore. Oh, there's another one of the downfalls. There's one of, if I could do away with things, it would be getting rid of cell phones. I think they destroy things, and air conditioning. And I know you're going to think I'm nuts because it's going to be 100 and something today.
Well, your point is get outside.
Go outside. Our bones are weakening because we don't go outside enough. The Pentagon literally over 10 years ago was concerned that the skeletal system of the upcoming kids with their lack of vitamin D in their life. Their bones weren't going to be strong enough. That's why we had to come up with those endo suits, the thing that, makes you into a robot, basically, so you can run, We don't get outside enough.
And we have machines inside where we run, where we walk, where we bicycle. So we do all that stuff inside. It's kind of interesting, isn't it? So,
and pay for it.
I want to go back to your concern for kids, because you must really have something to say about everything going on, and how it's become so political is sad to me, because, pedophilia and sexual predators, I don't care, Democrat, Republican, come on. There's a pretty hard line there. And what's going on with all of the public conversation about the Jeffrey Epstein case, and of course, as time goes on, what are we saying to our kids? We've clearly got to say, regardless of what side of the political aisle you're on, there is right and there is wrong, and this clearly is at the depth of wrong.
Right.
Don't you agree?
Oh, Lord, yes. You got moved to a minimum security prison, And
if you go back and read the victim statements from Ghislaine Maxwell's trial, they're heartbreaking.
Yeah.
They're not just frustrating, and they don't just make you angry. They make you indignant and angry.
I do see her as a victim, but a participating victim.
Oh, very willing.
I don't think that there was, Patty Hearst type,
But surely if this was going on in our communities, and of course, I'm in the news business, I'm sure you see the bigcountryhomepage.com alerts as well. It seems like every third story is about, child abuse or some sexual proclivity.
But see, that's one of our problems. That's one of the problems right now is this 24-hour news cycle that we have to fill. And we know about in the United States, we know every child thing. Well, growing up, you were allowed to go outside and stay away until the damn street lights come on. I don't want to see you. And you didn't see them. You might run in for lunch, but we think that pedophilia is worse than it ever has been. It's still basically about the same that it's probably always been through time. We just hear about each and every one of them because it's so sensational and it's so titillating, for lack of a better word, that's what gets people to watch the news.
There's no question. It's clickbait.
Yes.
No question.
So, there's part of our problem. When was the last time you saw a kid riding a bicycle? When was the last time you saw him throwing a football out in the street? I'm sorry, that's where they need to be, interacting with one another.
So, culturally, are we?
I get a little wound up.
I love it. Are we at risk? Generally speaking, are you positive? Do you have a positive outlook, or is it more of a?
I'm a man of faith. Okay. Yes. I wake up every day and excited about what I can do today to make the world a better place. I want more people to be trying to do that. And then we'll be in good shape. And I know we all have different ideas about what's a better world. But there's a few basics that we can all agree on, So let's focus on those instead of this money thing. There's the problem. I'm sorry, it says it in the Bible, and it says it in the Quran, it says it in all of them. Money's evil. But we base it all on this. This is something we were talking about when we spoke earlier, was that I think we're terrible at being good people when times are good. You would be hard-pressed to find better people than us when times are bad, be it a tornado, a flood down on the Guadalupe. I mean, people's response and what they give, those people didn't need cases of water, but that's what we know we need to do to get to feel bad. I mean, we've got to do something for these people. What can we do? Well, we're putting a trailer full of stuff together. Great. What do we're awesome. The Louisiana Navy, those guys, wherever there's a problem, they just pack up and bring their little airboats down, and they can go around in any flood and help. And it's just beautiful. It's, but then, man, you have a little money in your pocket and comfort and air conditioning, and you don't go outside, and you start losing your compassion for your fellow man. And what's wrong with those people? I've got mine. What was wrong with them? Well, you inherited yours. I hate to break this to you,
I'm sure you have a few rules.
Not to talk about this kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, no, I think that in a sense, what you're saying is that we need a community, we need a state, we need a nation, a little bit like you experienced at Faire Park. Hey, come here, treat people with respect, look out for somebody. When somebody's having an angry moment, maybe give them a little grace and a little space. Look for the occasional hole in one, but have fun, enjoy. I don't know. Seems like that's a pretty good philosophy for life. Is that about it?
Well, I mean, that's where the name for the park comes from. Play hard, play fair, everybody wins. Faire Park. I had a Saturday morning children's TV show for a while. It's called Camp Waku, and it was on one of your competitors. And you guys ended up having a Saturday morning children's show. And that was a really fun experience. I thoroughly enjoyed that. But that was worked into part of the Camp Waku stuff, and trying to teach virtues, and
Well, it's a marathon, not a sprint. It's a long-term commitment. It's it's a slow cooker, not a microwave. It's just how you live life. And there will be disappointments and frustrations along the way. But if you live consistently out these things, that's going to be the message of your life. Somebody taught me years ago, you are how you treat people. That's who you are.
Yeah.
You really, who you are really is how you treat people. And I think that's true.
Yes. Oh, without a doubt. And it's, yes. Just had a thing the other day with my granddaughter.
Still teaching those virtues.
Oh, yes.
So as we kind of land this thing and talk about perspectives, if you could wave a magic wand, you've already said, I think I heard you say, take cell phones away and get people to go outside. Is there anything else you'd do?
Well, how can I make it to where everybody has an opportunity, and everybody has an opportunity for health care and for just the basics, if we have improved and grown as a culture as we have over this time period, that was not something that we were guaranteed anywhere along. But I think we've gotten to that point where it should be. And it is in most developed countries. The wealth disparity is just, that's, I think, the greatest problem on our earth right now. There's a few people that worship gold, worship the golden calf. And because of that, they're more financially successful in life. Not successful in life, but financially successful, which gives them the power to change rules and to make the rules more fitting for what they want to accomplish and how they see the world. And may be wrong on this, but I do believe we have the greatest disparity of wealth we've ever had on the face of the earth. And it's just a shame. You want to take things back and you get it back to where America was great again. Let mom stay home. And or dad. I mean, that at least one parent got to stay home with the kids. You don't all have to work 3 jobs to get by. It hadn't changed that much. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you heard that parable of the guy that had a little pizza stand in New York, and he put about $2,000 in his pocket every week, and well, he was doing really well. And then somebody came down and ate his pizza from one of those big tall buildings on Wall Street, an investor type, a planner type. And he goes, "Hey man, you know what? I can really help you expand your business. Let's open up 10 pizza shops and let's see how you do." Well, the guy then started working instead of 4 days a week, he was working 7 days a week. Instead of working, 10-hour days, he was working 17-hour days. And after about 6 months, he was exhausted. He was tired. And the guy says, "Yeah, but look how much money he has." "Yeah, still about $2,000 every time." Mm-hmm. So it's a matter of insight and what you value, right?
Yep. Oh, yes. And that's why you can't really, berate people for being that way, being so money conscious. And I'm the exact opposite. My father was that way, terrible businessman. And I'm a horrible businessman. What I was doing going into business was just idiotic. I mean, I'm good with people. I can hold on to money, but not make it. I'd just soon give it away.
That's what you'll be remembered for, and that's it. That's what we all want.
Yeah, what am I doing? Buying that?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, in a way, yeah.
Yeah. So 10 years from now, what would you like to see happen in Abilene? Where would you like to see Abilene 10 years from now? Because you've got a lot invested in this city.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people in this city love and appreciate you and what you've done there at Faire Park. And so I think this is a great opportunity for you to give us some advice.
I wish we would go around and find the people locally that are making a difference. That's what you're doing with this podcast, is talking to people that are supposedly making a difference in Abilene. I feel good about, if my time ended sooner than I thought, I'm good, because I think we've helped make Abilene a better place. I have people come back on a regular basis and tell me how much they loved it and how important it was in growing up. About a month ago, there was a whole rigmarole about the park was closing and I was sick and all this. And it was all started out of beautiful thoughts and concerns. Somebody had asked me, "Well, what are you going to do?" And I said, "I just turned 72. I'm tired." When you're a small business owner, you work 12-hour days, pretty much a minimum, 6-7 days a week. It gets tiring. And when it's 78 years old, something's breaking down constantly, and I'm not fixing or doing something new that I want. I want to turn half the park into an outdoor play museum, games that are being lost to technology and air conditioning, and there's some great ones. Even if the kids went outside, they may not know what to do.
It's true.
I hate to be that way, but, so you can come and play tetherball. You can come and do hopscotch. You can, all these games that are being lost. So I don't know.
I was in, of all places, Tractor Supply recently. I forget what I was buying, but I walked by and I couldn't believe in Tractor Supply they had a big square box bin selling wiffle balls and wiffle ball bats. Mm-hmm. And there was a little kid that walked by just as I was admiring.
Look, it's a pickleball.
It's a wiffle ball. He didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
He didn't know what it was. And he was with his mom, and I kind of awkwardly tried to tell him, "Well, this is kind of like baseball. You know baseball. This is a wiffle ball." And I thought, how sad a kid doesn't know what wiffle ball is.
Well, I mean, that was the great for playing in the backyard, because you weren't always hitting the ball over the fence.
Right.
It wouldn't go over the fence.
And anybody
anybody
can throw a wiffle ball.
And that is the reason I think a big part of why pickleball has gotten so big is because it's basically just a big wiffle ball.
Yeah, with ping pong paddles kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a lot of fun, Doc. I want to give you a chance to talk about some of the events you regularly do at Faire Park, some of the stuff you'd like people to know about. You mentioned one coming up in October with the Interfaith Council.
Yeah.
What are some other things going on at Faire Park?
Well, I mean, we have annual events every year that we've been doing. It's to the point where we just call them the umpteenth annual. We celebrate Earth Day. That's a big deal for us. late May, early June, we always do the Beatles Fest, which is a really cool 2-day event where we'll have country artists, we'll have jazz, we'll have classic rock, we'll have mariachi. I mean, we've had across the board, but playing Beatles music is something we have in common. Everybody likes. You may not buy their album, but you are comfortable listening to them. I was a Rolling Stone guy myself, to be real honest, but the Beatles are the first ones, and but the Stones. What's the thing? She likes the Beatles, and I like the Stones. I think there's some truth to that.
That surprised me a little bit. I would have thought you were a Deadhead.
Well, yes, but I'm talking about in the original. To be honest with you, here's one that'll throw people off. Really and truly, I'm a Little Feat. Is my number one band.
Okay.
And then the Dead. I've probably seen the Dead more than any other band, but
yeah. Boy, when Jerry Garcia died.
Yeah, it was. Well, and what's funny is I lost a finger in 9th grade, and it's the same one that he lost, and it's on. I've got a knuckle.
So you always loved.
So this bizarre, and I knew about before I really got into their music, because you kind of got to be a little older to get into their music. So.
Yeah, it's true.
Uh-huh.
That's true.
I got to go see them at Sphere.
Wow
is exactly right. I don't do very many extravagant things in my life. That's probably the most extravagant thing I've ever done, and it was mind-boggling.
A friend of mine saw him at Red Rock many years ago, and it's a great memory. Yeah, it's a real core memory. All right, well, you've given us some great advice.
Well, just real quickly, if I could, coming
please.
up this month, 15th through the 17th is something that is my bucket list, and I'm trying to start the International Day of the Hippie, which is 3 days long because hippies just need just a little bit more time. And the choice of dates, we used to try and celebrate around Earth Day because Earth Day was started by hippies. And if people had only listened to us back then, maybe we wouldn't be so hot right now. But Woodstock was on the 15th through the 17th of August. So we thought Earth Day is an important thing. We don't need to be trying to take anything away from it. We'll get our own date. So we moved it. When you're trying to establish something, that wasn't very hard to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't change your calendar, I'll bet you. But hopefully it will someday. So, because I think hippies have brought some good things to the world. Contemporary worship, straight up came out of the hippie movement. I don't care what anybody says.
And
Casual Friday.
I was about to say the best clothes.
Whole food.
Yeah.
Whole food. Natural medicine. We see it's integrated into our life, and it's not, let's go get a Crab Shack tie-dye, But see, I do believe everybody has a little bit of hippie in them. It might be in the clothes you wear. When you go on vacation, go to Mexico, you get your hair braided, right? You come back with Crab Shack tie-dye and you wear them. Any other time, you wouldn't even think about doing something like that. But so I think we all have a little bit of it in. Then we have coming up after that, October's huge. We have a haunted house that's always been there.
Oh, yeah. Been to it many times.
It's outdoors and it's a fun one. It's not a bad one. It's a good one. It's fun. We have the Mead Fest that's a gas. There's just lots of things. If you go on our Facebook, and I hate to say that, but I don't ever look at it, but I have wonderful people that do.
Yeah. That's
where you can really find out what's going on.
Yeah. So, and remember that if somebody sees or hears this podcast, the first person that comes in and says, I saw you on the podcast, they get a free round of golf. And if somebody's right there, give them the free, and I'll pay for that one.
There we go.
We really appreciate you, Doc.
I'll send you a bill.
Appreciate you, man. This has been a lot of fun. And
this
really,
is a hoot. Yeah.
Really a big education, from Monahans to Abilene and Abilene High to Adams State and Alamosa, Colorado, and back to Abilene from St. Paul, is that where you were a youth minister? Yeah. To the Boys and Girls Club, to play Faire Park, and being a person that's given us a really good word today. Really appreciate you, and
thank you.
Thank you for coming on the podcast.
It was nice to be asked.
A lot of fun. So there you have it. I told you, for sure, Lockstone, well, I don't know what that phrase is, Lockstone something, Dock Stones, Lock Solid. Most interesting people in Abilene are always right here on the Abilene People podcast, and Doc England has certainly filled the bill for us today. I want to give a big shout out to our ace producer, Travis Corrigan, TCB, taking care of business, always making it happen for us. I'm your host, Danny Sims. Thanks for joining us, and we'll be back with another one of Abilene's most interesting people. Have a great one.